South Africa is in trouble, a big trouble. It's a beautiful country full of amazing people, but there's a problem, a big scary problem. The police are failing, not failing in a forgot to do the dishes kind of way, failing in a can't keep people safe kind of way. That's right, the South African Police Service, or SAPS as they call it, is struggling to do its most basic job responding to emergencies. And when I say struggling, I mean really struggling. Imagine, you're at home, it's late, you hear a noise. Could be nothing, right? But what if it's not? What if someone is breaking in? You call the police, your heart pounding in your chest, but they don't come, not right away anyway. Minutes tick by like hours. You're terrified. This, sadly, is the reality for many South Africans. SAPS is slow to respond to calls for help. Sometimes they don't come at all. This isn't a new problem either. It's been brewing for years, like a pot of sad, neglected stew, and it's not getting any better. In fact, it's getting worse, much worse. The people of South Africa deserve better. They deserve to feel safe in their own homes. They deserve a police force that can protect them. Why is SAPS so slow? Why can't they keep up with the criminals? Well, it's not because they're lazy, that's for sure. It's because they're stretched thinner than a hippo in a yoga class. SAPS is severely under-resourced. They don't have enough people. They don't have enough cars. They don't have enough equipment. They're basically being asked to fight a war with water pistols and pool noodles. Think about it. How can we expect the police to do their jobs if we don't give them the tools they need? It's like asking a chef to bake a cake without flour, eggs, or sugar. Sure, they might be able to cobble something together, but it's not going to be pretty or edible. SAPS needs more funding. They need more training. They need more support. Without it, they're doomed to fail. And when the police fail, everyone suffers. So, what happens when the police can't protect you? Who do you turn to? Well, in South Africa, many people are turning to private security companies. These companies have sprung up all over the country, like mushrooms after a rainstorm. They offer armed response, security patrols, and all sorts of other services that the police are struggling to provide. Now, some people might say that this is a good thing. After all, if the police can't do the job, someone has to do it, right? But there's a dark side to this too. Private security companies are businesses. They're not charities, they're in it for the money. And that means they're more likely to protect the wealthy and powerful, leaving the poor and vulnerable to fend for themselves. It's a scary thought, isn't it? A two-tiered system of justice, where your safety depends on how much money you have. A looming threat, the government's controversial plan. Now, you might think the government would be thrilled that private security companies are stepping up to fill the gap. But you'd be wrong. The government isn't happy. In fact, they're downright nervous. They see these private armies as a threat to their authority, and they're right to be worried. When you have heavily armed private security forces roaming the streets, it's not exactly a recipe for stability. So, what is the government planning to do about it? Well, they're talking about introducing new laws to regulate the private security industry. They want to limit the number of firearms these companies can have, restrict their powers, and generally make it harder for them to operate. Sounds good on paper, right? But here's the problem. If the government cracks down on private security without fixing the problems with SAPS, it could make a bad situation even worse. The price of inaction. A future gripped by crime? Imagine this. The private security companies are gone, their guns are locked away, their guards are at home watching TV. But SAPS is still the same old SAPS. Understaffed, underfunded, and unable to cope. What happens then? Well, it's not hard to imagine, is it? Crime rates would skyrocket. People would be terrified to leave their homes. South Africa would become a playground for criminals. This is the future South Africa faces if it doesn't get a handle on its crime problem. It's a future where the rule of law has broken down, where the streets are ruled by fear, and where the only people who feel safe are the ones who can afford to pay for it. It's a bleak picture, but it's a picture we need to confront. The time for action is now. South Africa needs to invest in its police force. It needs to give SAPS the resources it needs to do its job. It needs to make sure that everyone feels safe, not just the wealthy and privileged. The stakes are high. The future of South Africa hangs in the balance.